Hello, guys, and first of all, I'd like to apologize for my voice in the first episode. I had to do this in the morning because I realized if record that episode really early in the morning because I figured if I didn't do that now, I'd have no chance at getting first place. So, here's episode 3, and here's an update of where I am on the scoreboard. So I climbed 5 ranks in the last turn, so I'm doing pretty good on that front. Though I'm mostly going past people who don't seem to actually be playing the game much. Like this DK club guy, he has 0 routes yet, and so on. There's a lot of people who haven't really made any routes. On the passenger front, I've been to top 10 already. Usually, the passenger top 10 is a good indication of who is going to be high ranked. Mainly because people who carry less passengers can also be high ranked by either doing cargo or by doing long range routes, but people who do long range routes in the very beginning of the match usually don't go to quite the extent of some of the other companies from my experience. At least the competitive worlds. Like I already saw some people make routes like Beijing to Moscow, I think. Now my internet is being slow right now. It turns out that hasn't been made, but I've been seeing some pretty long range routes, which is pretty cool. Oh, here we go. So we got Moscow to Seoul and okay, that's only making about $3,000, so that's completely stupid. Because if you look here, my Tupolev 104 is like they're all making about 2.5 million average, I'd say. Like this one isn't making very much, but it's a unfortunate number of routes, I guess. Sometimes when the route number depending on the number of schedules, the profitability of a certain airplane can fluctuate quite a bit. See, like this one is 100% occupancy with maximum price, Boston to Houston or Houston to Boston, making 2.4 million, and I'm making nearly 2.6 million on Houston to Charlotte. So that's like a 200K difference, so 2 million difference there. But mainly what I wanted to talk about was now. Oh yes, I was gonna look at my financial report because I had something interesting happen to me last turn that almost never ever happens. So, if you look at my total expenses, the number has increased by 400 or 850,000 in the last turn, and in that turn I added one Tupolev 104. So what that tells me is in order to be profitable with a Tupolev 104, you generally have to be making more than 900K with that particular airplane per month. Now, another interesting thing is the aircraft purchase number, which is 28 million, is a sign of the return speed of or pretty much what you have to do is you have to take the profitability of your aircraft. So, for example, 2.5 million of a Tupolev 104, and you subtract that from the expense increase for the Tupolev 104, which I happened to figure out from only adding one plane last turn, which is pretty convenient actually. So I learned that it takes about $1 million, we'll call it. So that means my profitability is 1.5 million per turn. And then we have to divide 1.5 million out of the aircraft purchase price, which roughly gives us 20 months. So that means for every one Tupolev 104 we have, it will take 20 months before we have enough money to buy another one. Now, pretty much the ideal aircraft for Air Tycoon would have the minimum return time. So, in other words, one aircraft can make enough money for you to buy another one of those aircraft in the least time possible. That would be the best possible situation. Now, in the beginning of the game, I'm like 99% sure at this point that Tupolev 104 is the way to go, and that's why. Like, if you think about it, for an airline with with 11 aircrafts at this point, making enough money to buy one aircraft every 20 turns just from each one of those aircraft, you can see how that's very, very productive. But because you're adding aircraft constantly during that duration of 20 months, which is the time to return, to buy another aircraft pretty much, that means we will be growing incredibly fast. So in other words, the most important thing is the ratio of profit to the the cost of the airplane, and that's why the Tupolev 104 is so unbeatable at the beginning of the round, and I can't actually imagine using any other aircraft. For example, the guy who made the route from Seoul to Moscow. His aircraft is the DC-811, and I'll use this as an example. Let's just say it has the exact same operating cost, which I'm not sure. It could be less, but most likely it will be the exact same thing, or close enough so that it's like margin of error. I haven't actually I can't actually buy an aircraft right now, but I know for a fact it's about 60 to 70,000. I can't remember exactly, but then if you do the margins, it's probably around 2,000. And then divide that by 60,000, that's about 30, which is why long range routes aren't efficient at the beginning of a game. So, if you've been listening to me ramble on and on and on and don't actually understand anything I'm saying, why are we listening to this guy who's like closer to the bottom of the league than to the top? And that's because I guarantee you, for somebody with 11 planes making almost 20 million a month, that's not too bad at all. In fact, I don't know what I'm losing my train of thought. Okay, so pretty much what I'm trying to say is use cheaper aircraft when you don't have it, because the cheaper aircraft you can have more of them, which can generate more money than having fewer better aircraft. Fewer better aircraft is for when finding a good route is harder than it is to buy a new aircraft, and you keep it more routes that you can find compared to the number of aircraft you have. So yeah, I gotta like write all these things down and make an actual script and make an ultimate air tycoon tutorial because while in my head, obviously from me trying to explain it to an imaginary audience at this point, has proved that I can't really put it in words really well. Anyways, if you understood any of that, good job, because I think I did a terrible job explaining. And let's see. I don't have an aircraft right now or anything, so I'm really just scrolling around and talking about random junk. So yeah, I can call it an episode because it's more of just an update. So I'll probably call this 1.2. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys next time. Not really episode 3. It's 1.2. It's kind of episode 3. Who knows?